goes back a long ways,
So what year were you born?
1936.
36.
So that was the worst of the Depression.
Yep.
My dad called them the dirty 30s.
Yep.
And Dad had quite a time because, big family and he said, it was so dry, the clouds would build up like you were going to get a really good thunderstorm or something. There'd be a few sprinkles and that would be it.
Yep.
And then he would, back then they plowed, so he would go out there and plow. And so that when you plow, it makes a furrow. So the next time you fill in the furrow, so he would go to the end of the field and turn around. And by the time he turned around, it was like drifting snow. The sand had leveled off the furrow, so he didn't even know where he'd hardly been. But he must have been an optimist to keep on going when all you got is dry sand. And he was plowing in hopes that he could plant something in there and grow something, And then, of course, the main thing he tried to do is have some feed for his cattle. And so he ended up, he would stack cactus. And he'd get up there and, stack, and his legs would just be all raw because he would try and stomp that cactus down, to try to make a stack. And then he'd feed that to his cows. And of course, that didn't set very good with the cows. They had just loose stomachs,
So since you were born in 36, do you remember Cornelia's parents, Almond or Christine?
No.
No. What about Louis or Cornelia?
Yes. Yeah, I can remember sitting on Louis's lap, and I wasn't real happy with Louis because he always wanted to pinch me. I was younger than you, I suppose, and you Lyle, come over here, sit on my lap, and pull my ear, and pinch me here, and pinch me. Oh, Grandpa, that hurt. And he'd laugh. He thought that was so darn funny. And so I really didn't enjoy sitting on his lap because they're pinching me all the time. I still remember that.
That's a great story.
Yeah, darn it, that hurts, Grandpa.
Yeah, we can laugh about it now.
And he'd laugh.
But you remember his stub
Definitely.
that he'd hit you with it?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Oh, yeah, he'd kind of use that to bump me around a little bit, too.
Well, Leon wrote a thing about him and said that it kind of looked like a sausage.
True, because like here, it was just stubbed and just a little bit round. It wasn't completely square. It was kind of rounded, but yeah, it would remind you of like you take a summer sausage, so the end. Yeah, it did look like that. That would be a good comparison. Yeah.
Yep, and I think he did compare it to a summer sausage.
Yeah. I visualize it to this day. Sitting on his lap, and I had this stump, and he'd bump me with it and stuff. And of course, one thing about it, he didn't have to milk cows anymore, so Dad was pretty young, and so Dad had to, go out and do a lot of milking, plus Elvin and Vernon. But Grandpa's milking cow days were all done,
You never thought about that.
No, he didn't milk another cow.
How old was he when that happened? Do you know?
How'd it happen?
How and when?
Okay, I can't tell you when, but back then they had, I think what they call it, like a corn shredder.
Yeah, and it got stuck.
And it must have stuck, and he was probably stuffing it, and then he got in there too far, and it, just got his arm. And I'm sure that it was not a clean cut, so he had to go to the doctor, and the doctor had to sever it, and then try to get it, patch it up on the end like that. And it did heal very well, apparently. I don't know. I'm assuming it healed quite soon. Yeah.
Well, and then Clifford lost the end of his fingertip too.
Yeah. I don't know how was that?
Yeah, you said it was in the pasture and the cow cooked it or something?
He had his finger on the fence of the corral, and the cow hit the fence or the corral.
But his fingernail, I think, grew over the end of his finger.
Yeah,
if I remember right.
Yeah.
So he still had the fingernail, but not the the part of the tip was gone.
Slanted.
Yeah, I kind of see that, just visualize that, yeah.
And then great grandma had a scar all the way around her finger.
Do you remember that? She got that like in a windmill.
Oh, yeah.
So she had probably like
Oh,
it was golf, didn't it?
okay.
But she didn't go to golf.
Well, I guess you're on the Gullen side, so you'd remember Anna or Henry too.
Well, if you go back to Henry, I was born in '36 and he died in
37.
yeah, so I don't remember.
What about Anna?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
she died in 55.
Yeah, no, she lived in Leonard, and she had a little house up on the north side there in Leonard. She lived by herself, and you know, I would go with Mom a lot of times up there and visit her, and she'd always, first thing she'd do is get the coffee pot on and gotta have a cookie or something. And one thing I always remember about Grandma, like she'd come out to the farm just to help Mom a little bit, you know, and so Mother would say, for example, would cook supper, you know, and we'd all eat our supper, but Anna would be the first one up, and she'd be grabbing this plate and grabbing that plate and grabbing, hey Graham, I'm not done yet. Oh, but she was so she couldn't get the plates off the table fast enough, you know. She got to get them into the sink and get washing them, you know. So she was taking our plates before we even finished, you know. No, Grandma, we're not done yet. Oh, yeah, okay. But I still remember that. Oh, she'd always grab our plates and yeah.
Well, Grandma has the lamp that was next to Anna's bed.
Oh, where's that at?
I had it in my room all the time growing up. It's just it's a ceramic lamp, probably that big.
Okay. You still have it now? You still have it then?
And I have, for my birthday, I got Louis' cufflink. One cufflink, because I guess he only had one arm.
There you go. Well, makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, are they leaving? Let's do a picture. Let's do a picture of him